Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David Zabelia.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
And tonight we're covering Transformers masterpieces.
Educating Dave!
Seriously, is this just because last week was Star Trek, you've gone this week Transformers?
No, it's just because I've got these guys to have a look at.
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
Absolutely.
Well, I've got to admit, the one I'm actually quite looking forward to just because I think the paint job looks quite nice.
Oh really? Which one?
Oh, have a guess.
Sunstorm.
Yep.
Fair enough. You're in for a surprise when you actually look at it.
Am I?
Because it looks reasonably nice as it is, but...
Okay.
There is actually... The interesting thing with Sunstorm is there is a Japanese version that's got a completely different colour scheme which looks more like that, which is an E-Hobby special. When Starscream got reissued in the 2000s, E-Hobby released this. And they completely made the character up, completely.
Right.
He just turned up in the comics from that point, and he's suddenly grown into an actual...
Is this stuff I'm going to need to remember at some sort of later date?
Oh, quite
Because,
possibly, yeah. But Sunstorm actually radiates radiation from his body that melts other characters if they get too close, which is quite cool.
So he's basically got a flesh-eating virus as part of his makeup?
Well, no, because it's Sunstorm. He's literally burning, well, melting people to death from just being near them. It's quite, rather than being a virus or anything. But,
Well, no, yeah, but to another Transformer it would be a virus. To a human it's radiation, but to a Transformer it's some of the points in it. No?
It's not exactly scrapless.
So am I thinking about this? Is that the problem? I'm trying to... Yeah, okay, don't do that.
If we're spreading scraplets, yeah, maybe.
What?
Scraplets.
That's a scraplet.
A scraplet is a bug. kind of thing. It's a
metal-eating nanite, isn't it?
They look like nuts and bolts, and they basically eat Transformers.
And do they happen to replicate into other nuts and bolts in
Yeah.
order to eat more Transformers?
Yeah.
And how do they get rid of these?
With water.
Metal that's afraid of water. Okay.
You've got to bear in mind that back on Cybertron it was like
There's no water.
There's no water, so it was like this ethereal cure that doesn't exist anywhere that they found, and then on Earth you chuck a truck full of water at them.
So all the stuff falling from the sky isn't an issue at all?
Not in the middle of the desert where they were, no. Throwing a water tanker on them, that appeared to cause a problem.
Hang on, there is a Transformer that is a water tanker.
Octane's kind of a tanker. He could be.
I always thought he was fuel.
Yeah, he's a fuel tanker, really. But I assume you could probably put water in there, which is hilarious actually, because it was the scraplets were dealing with Decepticon triple changes, so that makes sense. Blitzwing and Astro Train.
Let's open a toy.
Okay, let's open a toy. Alright, let's lie these guys down because I don't have their stands with them, so they're going to fall all over the place.
These ones come with stands?
Yes. Because they're like, floating because of the jets.
Right, gotcha.
Now you'll notice there's quite a bit of difference between the two boxes, even though there's only about 8 months, maybe 10 months between them. Simply because in that period...
Two seconds. Right, Acid Storm and Sunstorm. I think the fact that they both have Storm, they're both jet fighters, they're both the same jet. Yeah, they look like the same jet. No, they don't. There's a difference in the... Okay. Alright, no, they are. They're the same. It's just a colour variation, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy. Pay me blue, pay me pink.
They're both bad guys. They're both in purple boxes. It's a giveaway.
Yeah, I know that. I was trying to be funny.
It didn't work. They're actually both the same mould as Thundercracker here.
Okay.
Which is a different mould to these guys.
Right.
But only slightly. Because what happened was when...
That one's got the better Decepticon logo.
Well, there is that. But basically, the original release was Starscream, but in Pacific Air Force colours, livery.
Okay.
And then in the States, when they released it, they did it in Starscream's normal colours. So that was reintroduced back into Japan as the USA edition.
Okay.
Then they did Skywarp, and they did Thundercracker using the same mould. Now, the Japanese Thundercrackers were really hard to get hold of. But when they released the Thundercracker in the States, they used a newer version of the mould because they'd just redone Starscream in Japan. And what they'd done is they'd changed the mould somewhat, so these flanges at the hip disappeared.
Yeah.
and were integrated into the back of the jet a little bit more. And the guns, which are just removable post and pole ones, on there they're on ball joints.
Yeah, because on that one they're... Ooh. So I just said they did the eyes on that particular one.
Well, the stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's standard. That's pretty standard. Unless you're very, very lucky, you've got a very early Diaclone version of the jets, which was repackaged where they had painted eyes. So,
why did they bother putting ball joints on those?
Because the way it transforms changed slightly.
Okay.
So it makes sense for this to be able to move around.
Be on a movable joint.
So that's the difference between those. So basically it's that mould that then got repainted into Acid Storm and got repainted into Sunstorm.
Okay, now
For
acid and green.
Yes, makes sense.
Sticking with the theme here.
The character actually originates from the cartoon series.
Okay.
Before it was a toy. The first toy of it was actually Transformers Universe Classics one, Chug one. So there's
Chug.
Classics, Henkai, Universe, Generations.
Henkai.
Henkai is the Japanese line that we call Classics and Universe Generations.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But they then got Generations a little later. But it does mean that this character's never been released in the G1 mould. Which is interesting. Whereas Sunstorm obviously has, but he's there. So yes, we'll pop this out of the box. On the side you have got a bio profile and a little bit of text specs, and the bio profile literally tells you he's a great speaker and has no ambition other than to soar high in the sky, seeding the clouds so they create acid rain.
So, you know what I was about to ask with that, because I know that this one emits radiation.
Yeah. This guy seeds clouds to create acid rain, and on Cybertron most of the rain would have been acid anyway.
I was going to say, didn't you say there's no water in Cybertron? Why would there even have been rain if there's no water?
Well, it's basically, they have a sea of rust and all this kind of stuff. So
sea of rust?
Yeah, so it's probably hydrochloric in some way or one of the other.
Ooh. Oh, that's nice. That's so tight. Yeah, for the rest of this season, if one of us forget tape, I think that's a beer along with the text.
Fair enough.
Oh, the stands.
They all got one of those stands. It's just for those three guys. I've no idea where I put them at the moment. There we go.
Oh, he's even got a pilot. Is he a holographic pilot, or is he a real pilot?
Starscream came with Dr. Arkeville from the TV show.
Right.
So
like the stand would have been better in metal, but is not in plastic. Do you want me to open the little baby?
Instructions I don't need.
You don't need those instructions. Okay, well I'm liking that. That's a substantial stand, and it can be done in one of two positions. We'll do it in this position.
So you can either have it in jet mode or in robot mode on it.
Okay, that would make sense as to why the stand has two different positions and two different class points. You have a little black clip. That's God knows what that's for. Some sort of weapon, I should think. It's normal.
What are they doing now? Remember this.
And a little pilot in green. Oh, doesn't he look like the guy from Prometheus who's just sat in the chair?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm trying to remember.
I'm getting little tiny electric shocks with the wire on this darn shirt.
That'll serve.
I thought that was you know what? I thought, if I'm going to do another Transform one, Michael Bay!
Yeah, that's working out well for you.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sitting there and I'm getting slowly electrocuted. I think I know how you felt watching the first film. Ow, ow, ow.
How dare you? I'm going to show you some of the... Actually, go on, have a good look at it, because there's quite a lot of features on this mould, which is quite nice.
Okay, well, it's masterpiece, so guess what? The logo's painted on.
Yep.
I like that. They used green perspex in the creation of the... That's quite nice, and the seat looks good.
Pop off the nose cone.
Alright, and see the hinge point there, so I'm not too worried about that. Oh no, 2 hinge points.
No, the actual nose cone. Where it's changed colour.
Is it a... Oh, that's a hinge... Ah, is that a magnet? Why has it got a little metal piece?
That's the radar dish on the front of the aircraft. Oh, nice, isn't it? They've actually gone, they went that far. So that, yeah, there's the radar dish in there. The outlets of both jets, that really doesn't help. Both of the outlets of the engines are positionable.
Yes, they are.
Which is quite nice.
There was no need to take it off me and do it yourself.
Okay. You sure?
It was not that painful after the head had popped off, one of the guns, and the wing. It was not that bad, Sven. I would have got there in the end.
Yes, unfortunately, we only have until we both die.
Okay. There is only a finite amount of digital tape. So,
yes.
Yeah. It's quite cool.
He doesn't mean an awful lot to a lot of collectors because he's not one of the original jets. Then he had turned up in one TV show episode and that was pretty much it.
No comics?
No, not well. I'm not sure if he's turned up anything since he turned up in Chug, but
okay.
He was in...
So why have Masterpiece decided, hey, you know what guys, let's make it?
It's a bit of a strange one actually because in the States we'd had Starscream. They'd done Skywalk, which we'd actually got as a Argos exclusive.
Yes.
Which basically most people didn't even know happened.
I knew that one.
Because it wasn't in an Argos catalogue at any point.
Well, if I knew that, then why didn't anybody else?
Because I told you. And Thundercracker was only released in the States and wasn't released over here.
Right.
Mind you, we didn't get Starscream either.
Okay.
Of all the three, we only got that one through Argos, which nobody knew about. It's very, very strange.
That's it. Whilst I'm looking at this and you're telling me that story, you could be transforming this one.
Yes, this is true. You have Sunstorm.
So
yeah, what happened was in Japan they retoured the mould and issued a new version of Starscream, which then came with his cloak and his.
Why would he have a cloak?
Transformers the movie, original one.
Yeah. Okay.
Coronation Starscream.
Yeah.
This is bad comedy. Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. That bit. He even had the crown as well, which is quite cool. Well, yes, that's one thing you'll notice is that one of the changes on the packaging was the fact that the new Transformers logo's gone on it, which I don't like. Like the original one, which keeps coming back, and it will keep coming back. So, yeah, give it a. That's right.
Did you notice when you were transforming this, well, I'm going to call them break points, but the pieces where the plastic was obviously done on an extruded mould and then they've snapped?
Yeah.
But you don't expect that from Masterpiece.
Well, this is the thing. You've got to bear in mind this isn't a Japanese masterpiece.
Well, the fact that it's got a whacking great Hasbro SA logo on the underside.
Because Japan haven't even had that in that colour scheme.
Would they have wanted this?
I don't know, because this is the thing, is in Japan, when that was released, they got Starscream in their new version of the mould.
Well, that's a much nicer looking.
Yeah.
So, pass me him over.
But you'll notice that the mould is slightly different. There is a post on the back of his bottom, which clips on, just so you're aware.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Right, you stay in shot. Now this looks far more Gundam style. Although his head weirdly floats, that's a bit strange. Okay, I'm not grooving to that.
That is one of the slight changes in the two different moulds.
That and the fact he's smirking, that's a bit...
Now, that version of the mould has a unique ability that the later ones don't have after they made the changes.
Let me guess, you can swap the head round.
Yep. There's two faces inside the head.
That's nice.
So you have a more passive one and you've got a more Starscreamy smirk.
Okay.
And actually that smirk is lifted directly again from Transformers the movie.
Okay.
It's when he goes, Megatron goes, wait, I still function. You get that smirk and he goes, what about? As he drops him out of Astro Train into space.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah. Now the problem we've got...
I love the coloration.
Yeah. One of the problems we've got is that this mould has now been used and used and used and used.
Which is abused to the point now where it's
starting to have quality control issues.
Okay, the paint job on this is phenomenal.
This is the thing. Most people don't even know about that paint because it doesn't show up on any photographs.
Yeah, but surely if you read the blurb underneath, somebody will have gone, oh, and by the way, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Most people have written this off before they even got into the hands of any collectors.
Because they saw a picture.
Because they saw yellow. And of course Sunstorm.
No, you see, I
orange.
like the artwork on the box. The artwork on the box was enough to sell this.
Yeah.
Although, I have to say now I'm holding it, I'm disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, because the artwork on the box makes it look like it's a rough and ready, slightly battle damaged, it's been through a bit of wear and tear.
Which would make sense.
This is, I mean, the flames on it are gorgeous and it's really nice, but it doesn't look dirty.
Yeah, because that's all.
But see, that looks dirty and abused. That looks a bit sort of, it's done its time.
That's photoshopped. Standard Hasbro procedure these days, unfortunately, which is most annoying.
No, the procedure should be that the toy on the box is the toy you get. Come on!
Get away with a lot these days, it would appear. But it wouldn't make sense for this character to have dirt on him because how would it settle on him when he's radiating enough to melt things? He'd burn anything off.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that to it. But I doubt that that flame paint
job is beautiful.
Just ridiculously good.
Okay, I don't want to watch you sob again, so there you go.
But yes, it was a case of, in Japan, this was released in that colour scheme.
Which people wanted because...
And tapers off a little more and things like that. So there's a colour variation from the back, from the front to the back and things like that on it. But it's basically based on that. Whereas Hasbro went with their own version and then just did the showing off flame paint.
Did you get a little yellow pilot?
I haven't looked. Yep. Starscream, Thundercracker and Skywarp with the original 3 jets.
I knew that.
Yeah. And literally the only difference between the moulds was the colour. All they did was repaint them, but give them very different personalities. So you've got the self-assured, handsome, apparently, Decepticon jet who had the ability to make a screaming noise when he comes in from orbit.
Okay.
That acts as sort of like
I knew that, it's a sonic boom thing, yeah.
Which is weird because that's kind of what Thundercracker's got. But Starscream's special talent didn't turn up anywhere.
Isn't it?
It didn't turn up in the comics. Well, it turned up maybe once in the comics, but it didn't turn up in the TV show at all. Whereas Thundercracker's sonic boom, where it basically knackers everybody's order,
was always like been literally used. Every time he was there.
Yeah, and you got Skywarp. Now, Thundercracker was formerly a aristocrat in...
You went cat, you'll go Disney, don't go Disney.
He's an aristocrat, so he's kind of like looks down on everybody else, but he's not even entirely sure he should be a Decepticon. So it's quite a nice character, whereas he's a thug. Completely brainless thug is basically what this guy is, who plays practical jokes on everybody else because his special ability is to transwarp. All over the place.
You can have a lot of fun with that.
So he just basically teleports behind people and shoots them.
Well, technically you should win
in every fight. And he doesn't care if side down, he just does it anyway.
You should win in every fight.
Yeah, but he hasn't got the intelligence to work out how to do things in a logical or strategic manner. He relies on Starscream for everything.
Given the fact that it's a giant robot.
Yeah. okay, when you're fighting other giant robots, you need some strategy. Okay, so then you've got your Rainmaker. He's one of the Rainmakers. That was actually the name of 3 of these jets that were. There was a purple one, I think a red one, and a green one.
Yeah, because these things weren't thought of in the 80s when they were on about seeding clouds.
And Sunstorm was created in the 2000s, and he's basically this radioactive.
You know, the colour is really bright. I like the artwork on the box.
Yeah, where he's got the.
Yeah, he looks like he's been around a bit. That's. Yeah. You know what this made me think of was sort of like the alien-esque machinery they use for loading up the starships.
Yeah.
That's sort of been around.
It's
done
too
some
clean
work.
for you.
It's too bright for me.
Yes, it is the thing. So I like the clean look, so I'm quite strained in that respect. But when we had these original 3 jets, there were 3 other jets the following year, which were Ramjet, Dirge, and Thrust.
You had a Ramjet.
His name wasn't Roger either.
Well, that was the next guy. That was the next bit. What?
Yeah, Ramjet,
Why?
Thrust, and Dirge.
Okay, Dirge.
Ramjet's-
Seriously, because
Okay, Ramjet's special ability was he could ram other characters and not cause himself any damage.
okay.
So he literally rammed.
Yeah,
people
that
out of
makes
the sky.
sense.
Makes sense. Dirge, the dirge of his engines invoked fear in his
Fear,
opponents.
wouldn't it just clog up?
No. He basically said the noise, the dirge of his engines, literally
Was enough to-
had played with the cerebral cortex in his enemies.
Right.
And unfortunately also played with his cerebral cortex, so he was afraid of everything whenever he did it. Which was just like, well done! And Thrust had VTOL wings, so he could literally just go straight up and have people. So yeah, but they all had different wings to these guys, and as a result, Hasbro and Takara haven't actually done them yet. So they're going to be based on, eventually they will be based on these moulds, but they'll have different wings, and quite how they're going to work that out, because the wings are quite intrinsic to the transformation on these.
Careful.
Yeah.
Ball joints.
So yeah, that will make sense. Now, just to make things even more complicated, when Starscream came out originally, another company reverse engineered them and put them back out with changes.
Right.
And it's blindingly obvious when you look at them, and then you look at this Thundercracker and these guys, that Hasbro then reverse engineered what they'd done and stole it. So there's a double reverse engineering going on. So these
You looked at
guys,
it and went, you know what, they had a point.
yeah,
We do
literally,
want that.
This third-party company had cloned and essentially knocked off this mold.
Yeah, that happens
created-
a lot with some of the
Yeah.
Transformers, doesn't it?
and then Hasbro knocked them back off again.
Okay.
Which was like, okay.
Because I remember phoning you, being all excited from some collectors, saying, going, oh, they've got all of these, and they're like, which characters? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the boxes look really nice. Yeah, they're great, and the price is fantastic. Yeah, they're all knockoffs. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's a lot
But
of
the funny, you know what? The only thing that struck my attention, because I saw the toys out of the box, the thing that got mine was the packaging looked too good.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that struck me is I don't think these are quite right, which is why I phoned you to say, listen, should I buy these? Was because the packaging looked just too.
A good example of that actually is some of the knockoffs of G1 that are running around at the moment are in original boxes, which immediately is an alert. You've got a mint box,
Yeah,
a 1985 toy.
Actually, well, the same happened with the Trek figures, but those were actually official, which Mego did it. They just re-released their stuff, and it's like
Because it went through diamonds.
because the artwork and everything else is perfect. You just take off one little stick out, and it is the same thing. But you get people have gone, well, how can you tell? And it's like, well, when they first did them, they looked too good. It's been about 8 years now. Those boxes have been knocked around a bit. It's starting to get trickier to spot.
Yeah, but what I mean, this is the thing: is you basically had this company who reverse engineered these guys, and then created the other three
With
that
the right
been released
wings.
with the right wings and everything. So why Hasbro and Takara haven't done it, I don't know. But
Here's the question though: how many Transformers fans bought the knockoffs because they were of the characters they wanted?
well, this is the thing: is that it's difficult to call those knockoffs at that point
Because if they're the only ones ever done.
Yeah, because they're based on this.
They're knockoffs because they're not produced by the original toy manufacturer.
Yes, but then you've got the other argument of other third-party stuff. If it's completely
That's
new
true.
model, is it a knockoff? No, it's not.
Third party.
Is it using intellectual property owned by Hasbro?
Definitely.
Yes, it is. But is it a knockoff? No, because it's a completely new model.
Okay, alright. Hasbro have not formally objected to any of the third parties doing weapons and bits for characters, including heads and exoskeletons, quite substantial amounts.
And they're actually getting to the point now where with the Shapeways deal,
aren't they working in conjunction with
Shapeways, so you can actually officially license stuff that you.
So would that be the argument of a knockoff? Something that Hasbro officially go, we're not happy about you doing that.
Quite possibly, but the whole market's getting very interesting because you've got third-party companies creating their own new moulds of old characters, and then you've got 4 different companies doing the same ones. So at the moment, I think there's 3 different sets of Dinobots to match up with Masterpiece Grimlock.
Okay.
Which is bizarre. They're all different in different ways. One of them is actually doing a Grimlock again, making them slightly smaller, but making them combine. Combining Dinobots.
Okay, you look very excited about that, like I should have some idea why.
Oh, there was a comic where the Dinobots faced off against the Predacons.
Right.
And the Predacons actually, Razorclaw, who's the head of the Predacons, and the torso of Predaking,
Carry on.
He literally said, we won't combine because it wouldn't be honourable to take down the Dinobots in as Predaking because they can't combine.
Oh god, they came up with some great ideas then. Right, so back onto these. Quick question, because I'm evidently not understanding, right? Really cool Transformer logo on the wing.
Yeah.
That none of these have, but that's that particular one.
Yeah.
How come this one has the logo on the shoulder and none of the others?
That's a good question.
That's a good one.
It is a good question because there's no real answer. You've got to bear in mind with that one is there is no point of reference for that character.
Yeah, I know. I owe you a pint. Carry on.
There's no point of reference to that character, so anything they've done with this is based either on the Chug model, or what they've just made up.
Okay.
Whereas with Sunstorm here, he was very much mainly a different coloured Starscream.
Yeah.
But with some paint elements from Thundercracker.
Okay.
When you look at the original toy here, actually, is that literally the stickers that went on him are Starscreams in different colours. And very much the same was almost very much almost the same with Thundercracker originally. Whereas Skulls had very different ones.
I really want to do some jokes about Coneheads. I really. Yeah, I know. Saturday Night Live's not.
No. There was actually a thing about the second year of Decepticon Jets, is that in the cartoon series and then for some reason in the comics as well, to make them more distinct from the original 3, they had them transform like that. Even though the original toys, all 6 of them were supposed to have that down, so it's just the normal heads with the ridging down the side.
Okay.
So that annoyed me intensely whenever that happened and they turned up. I was just like, no, don't do that. And now, of course, everybody transforms them with cones up. So I'm just like, no, it looks awful. Because ever since then, when they've done the characters as new toys, they've made the cone smaller, so it actually looks okay. But on the G1, you just
naturally
know
the G1's awful. Okay. Alright. Well, me and you agreed a while ago that I could just give up scoring these darn things, because apart from it, it's not fair to our Transformers fans that I score them, because I can only score them for, if we had people that were just fond of toys watch the Transformers, but they never do because me and you rabble.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work. So I won't, but I will ask that you do one thing when you score them. You mark that one then.
Now the thing is, you want it marked down because it hasn't got the weathering on it. The
box is gorgeous.
There.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the flames. Actually, bring the box up again.
Yeah.
I know you're going to put photos on the website, but just let me do this for the camera, right? Nowhere on here can you see the gorgeous, and they are gorgeous, as I destroy the entire thing. Nowhere can you see these gorgeous flames along the wings. It goes the entire way down the body, and it is really nicely done. But it's got all this gorgeous weathering on. And no, I tell you what, as a Transformer fan, if I had bought this based on the packaging, which shows you on the back the weathering in the vehicle mode
as well, yeah.
No, oh, okay. You know what? In the vehicle mode, you can see the flames. You can see the flames, but very faintly. I would be so hacked off because the green one, which I will actually use the name acids on. Okay, the green one has been touched up in Photoshop.
Yeah.
It does look a little darker, but no weathering as such. Just looks slightly darker in places. Where that is quite distinctly designed to look, and the hands are the wrong colour. See, on this, metallic-y, well not metallic, but you know, a grey colour, not white, where they're very clearly white.
I think that's the photography, to be honest.
It might be the photography. I'm actually annoyed, genuinely. Because I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to see how they've done the paint job.
That does show the differences between us, because I would have hated it with weathering on.
Yeah, you're going, it's radioactive, it can't have
and the fact I don't like my toys looking like they've been wrecked. Silly as it sounds. Going back to the original Masterpiece toy, the original Optimus Prime, the Japanese one was mint. The American one had battle damage. I hated it. The Japanese one much
Why?
nicer.
Did they never show him in a comic with battle damage?
It's Prime. It should be mint. He's leader. He'd be repaired immediately if anything.
Yeah, it'd be repaired immediately, but not during the middle of a fight. And that's what you've got. You've got
this is the thing: is I don't set them up in a diorama as such.
No, you have it as very much as a look at the shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now the interesting thing is with that Optimus Prime toys, when it came out in the UK, is that battle damage actually turned it more into effluenty, dirty stuff. Rather than being, for instance, on the grill on his abdomen area, in the American one it actually looks like it's a blast point is on there, whereas on the British one it actually looks like something's come out of the grill.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite distinct. That was a year difference between them getting it and we getting it, because someone at Hasbro UK decided we hadn't got Transformers until 1985 because they don't know how to check records correctly.
What records? They got rid of them.
They got rid of that. Yeah. So
see, look, I remembering
something. That'll help you. So looking at these very quickly. Okay, I do prefer this mould compared with this mould. Okay, the slight differences do make a difference to me.
Okay.
Moving so you haven't got the hip gubbins and it goes onto the leg, and this being on a ball joint rather than just being on a push and pull peg makes more sense. It is a shame you've lost the ability to swap the face though.
Yes.
That you've got on these guys.
Although I think it's better that the heads actually have a neck rather than a weird thing stuck at the back.
I'll give you that, absolutely.
Because that makes posing them
weird,
just weird.
Quite. So yes, I do prefer that version of the mould. Is it worth replacing those with that? Because this has now been issued in Starscream colours. This mould's been issued in Starscream colours and in Skywarp colours. But is it worth spending extra 130 quid to get those because they're only available in Japan? No, I would say not.
Not for you, but...
Some people, yes, it will be. But for me, no, I'm quite happy with these guys as it is. Thank you very much. And I think it's quite nice to actually see the other characters getting produced. However, where the hell are Ramjet, Dirge and Thrust?
Third party.
Yeah, the third party releases. Why the hell Takara haven't done them, I don't know, but we've still got plenty of time because they're going through Autobots from 1984 at the moment. They've already done the 3 Decepticons twice now, it will have been. So, it'd be interesting when we get to see a bit more of the 1985 range rather than just the 1984 range as masterpieces. But as for colour schemes go, this mod is really, really nice. Yeah, that screams the correct colour scheme, doesn't it? That's the one that works the best. I would say, I mean, I've got to love these guys because they're the original 1984 characters. Sunstorm, I possibly would prefer the orange rather than the yellow, but if it was just basic, but with that flame effect,
flame is nice.
really, really nice, which makes him, to me, better than Acid Storm.
I did just as good a job.
Yeah, I might be a little biased because, of course, Acid Storm originated in the cartoon.
Yeah, we know
whereas,
what they're like.
Whereas Sunstorm originated as this, which, though it was a reissue special in the 2000, it's still a G1 toy, essentially. Neo G1, if you want to call it like Clamp Down, Deep Cover, so on and so forth. Road Hauler. I'm really, really happy with having these guys because at the end of the day they are very, very different characters.
Yeah.
They may be the same jet and a very similar mould and so on and so forth, but they're very, very different characters.
They look distinctly different.
Yes, this is the thing, is that in all ways it's a case of, yes, these are all basically the same toy, but my God, are they different in look.
Yeah, they all have a distinctly different...
Yeah. All we need now is a Mirage to go with him so we can go hunting together. So yeah, it's quite a nice range. Now I can understand why some collectors would only have one of these, because at the end of the day it's the same toy. So this is where you get down into your subsets of Transformers collectors. So you're going to have people who are collecting toys, and this is all the same toy to them, essentially. And there's people like me that collect the characters. But to me these are all different. So
yeah, but my general experience of toy collectors, they want the colour variances. So
yeah, but
so it swings and roundabouts. Yeah, you know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. £10 to £30, you don't care. You'll have it in all the colours if you're a toy collector. When you start hitting 80s to 100 pluses, you start being way more selective about only buying the ones you want.
in the last 6 months, only one of these has been available at retail in the UK.
But didn't you tell me like this one did a Toys R Us thing and this one did
it's very complicated.
Okay.
Right, this is the older version of the mould, this is the newer version of the mould on these three.
Yes.
Okay. The original release of Starscream was in that South Pacific colour scheme. Okay.
The bit where they get the rim and the giant robots fighting.
Yeah, that bit. This colour scheme originally turned up in Walmart in the United States and then got re-imported into Japan as a USA edition. Okay? Yeah, okay. No, I can deal with that. Original retail in Walmart in the States would have been about $80 to $90.
And America was an import?
It would have been about £80 to £100, let's be honest.
Right.
It will cost you around about that now because of this colour scheme turning up on this version of the mould in Japan, which is now retailing. Well, you will probably set you back 150 quid ish. It has been reissued once already on top of the fact it was a new version. This version of Skywarp is the Japanese one. Yeah. So therefore, this is over £100. Yeah. Maybe a bit more if it's specific collectors. Okay. It was issued in the States, and this is the only one of these three that was issued in the UK. Okay. But it went through Argos. Why don't you have the UK edition? Say again? Why haven't you got the UK edition? Because I'd already got this by this point. Brother's got the UK edition because I picked it up for him. Okay. Which makes sense, doesn't it? But it was out in the UK through Argos at £60-ish, I believe, £60-70, something like that. Nobody knew it would come out because it wasn't in the Argos catalogue. Oh, this is one of those, we're going to put it on the website, we're not telling you bugger ones. Yeah, and the worst part is it was before the whole digital revolution thing for Argos, so people didn't look at the website. I still don't. Well, unless you tell me you're going to have to soon because they're still doing the catalogue. Yeah, but you can go in store and use their computers. Yeah, exactly. So that's a bit more weird because the UK USA
Catalogue
edition.
company that only have an online catalogue.
Yeah. The UK USA edition of that ended up at 30 quid, which is when most people picked it up from Argos when they found out about it, but the last few actually went out at 20, which is a total bargain.
There wouldn't have been
many then. Thundercracker, newer version of the mould,
yeah.
though there was when he was released in Japan, it was this version of the mould. By the time he reached the States, they were using the new version of the mould, which had been produced for a reissue Starscream, which I've just mentioned. This was available in Toys R Us in the States only. It went for about $70-80, I believe. I can't remember the exact amount. Never released in the UK. I had to have a friend of mine, Ben, thank you very much, grab one of these from New York when he went out to New York. So he grabbed one of those for me, which...
As in Giant Ben?
Giant Ben, yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
So when you said Ben in New York...
How many Bens? Yeah, there's too many Bens.
Too many Bens.
Too many Bens. Okay, Acid Storm. This was released at around about the same time as the Starscream issue in this version of the mould in Japan. So Japan got Starscream again, but got him with a cloak and everything, so he could go, Megatron, is that you? Yeah. Here's a hint. So this has not been released in Japan as far as I'm aware, unless they had some weird reverse import thing going on. It was in the UK. It started off at $74.99, it went down to 50 quid, and then slowly disappeared.
Okay.
And got sold. Theoretically, it would appear from most of the feedback on the groups and Facebook and so on and so forth, that a lot of people picked this up and then painted the bugger into some of the others. And other variations.
To paint.
Yeah. Sunstorm, there was a big question mark over whether he was turning up or not, because he, Grimlock, and Prowl turned up on Toys R Us's website at the same time.
Oh, but didn't it have that, we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it?
Yeah, oh, maybe we weren't. They all three got delayed. They turned up on the website really early. At least two of them did. Because you've got, this is the thing, is that Sunstorm was MP01 in the new packaging. In this style of packaging. Okay. Second one was Soundwave, which lasted all about 30 seconds on the job, because it was £125 with all 5 cassettes, and to get the Japanese version with all 5 cassettes was 250 quid.
That's one was reviewed already.
Yeah, and they flew out. He just sat there, so he went down to 50 quid and finally went out. Then MP03 was Grimlock, MP04 was Prowl, MP05 is Sunstorm. Grimlock was $99.99 and was announced on the website as $99.99. Most people just went.
Didn't they do an issue of him a few years before?
Yeah, there was an issue of him in classic style
really
packaging,
good.
which is really good, with extra paint apps to make him a bit more G1 at $59.99. That's shelf warmed.
Because you've got that one.
I've got that one.
Yeah.
Now that got dropped down, which is when I picked it up, because I didn't even realise it was out in the UK until I saw him on the shelf at a reduced price. So I had that because it was Grimlock, and to find that it was actually the best version of that toy they'd done. A new one, plastic quality's dropped, hasn't got the extra paint tabs. Bit of a shame. But it's in a blue version of this box. Sorry, not blue, red version of this box. Okay. The Prowl, Prowl was again in this style box, but it was blindingly obvious from the photography that it was plain white.
From the photography. You don't say the effect. I bite thy thumb at thee. Thy thumb.
Hell hath no mercy.
The photography.
Yeah, the photography.
Yeah.
Of Prowl made it very clear he was plain white plastic with the other applications
rather than being
painted white like the Japanese one. So the problem is he was $59.99, and from Kapow you could get the Japanese Prowl for $55.
Oh yeah, okay, so, that's hard.
So virtually nobody clicked the "Let me know when this was available" button on the website.
I bet Paul was so happy about that.
Paul,
not Paul.
Andy.
Probably,
but I think he'd run out by that point. But it was just like nobody clicked the "Let me know when this is out," and he got pulled. Which is a shame, because if he'd followed the same pattern as the other two, he probably would have sold in the end. He was at $69.99, so he was £5 less than this guy, which when the other two looked overpriced was like, huh? How does that work? He was £10 more than Prowl, bearing in mind that the price difference in Japan between the two is huge. So it was just like, that's weird. But everybody just assumed he wasn't going to turn up because Prowl had been pulled.
Yeah.
So they bought him from the States.
And then he turned up.
And then he turned up at $69.99 and didn't sell.
Because everybody really wanted him,
Had
got him from the States. Okay.
And then he got dropped in price. I believe he went to 55-ish. And then he went on 3 for 2 within 2 days of him price dropping. So he ended up, if you bought 3 of them from a Toys R Us store, they'd work out at 40 quid each.
Did they do that crap where you could buy 3 of them in the store but only 2 off the website?
That's right, you could only buy 2 at a time on the website, which was just
hideous. I love it when they do that.
Fortunately, my brother steps in at this point, remembering that I bought him a Argos Skywalk, and he bought 2 Sunstorms and a Grimlock because he knew I'd already got Grimlock.
Yeah.
So I got a Sunstorm out of that.
Oh,
so I was like,
that's pretty good.
Christmas present, yay! Like everybody, and like so many collectors ended up getting one because after the 3 for 2 finished, he dropped to 40 quid generally anyway.
Oh, okay.
So he ended up under a lot of trees this Christmas. So yay for all the UK collectors going, yes, we got something decent. It would appear that when the 3 for 2 offer was on, people were literally buying 3 of these in the stores, and either were buying them for friends who couldn't get to Toys R Us and send them on, or they were buying them to repaint the buggers into the characters we hadn't had.
Oh, hang on, you sent me that link.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who paints on football teams.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he's talented, but man, that did my head in a big way. I mean, it grieves me when you see people do it with the Playmate toy figures with them in little football logos. It's like, don't do that, don't do that, don't make Data play for Arsenal. It's just, no.
But what I think is going to happen now is you've got these 2 guys have been released and they're going to become rare because a significant number of them will have been
bought
repainted.
to paint. Yeah.
So
that's happened to so many things.
Yeah, so there's going to be hot links running around and so on and so forth, all the other characters, as well as repaints into these guys, which were hard to get hold of in the UK. So I've got a feeling that's going to happen, as well as all of the various customising and all the other new characters and so on and so forth. I mean, I could quite frankly get another 10 of these and they'd all be different by the time I finished, because there's so many variations on the character. Yeah, because I created, for the auto assembly Cybertronian Times issues, I created about 6 Autobots using this design.
Yes, the design.
So they were basically other members of the Vosgian Air Force that were...
Because it'd make sense you'd have a fleet of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is at the end of the day, if you go by the original concepts these guys were probably built in factories, and it's only when they were matrixed or given life that they changed. Yeah. So they basically had... So with Thundercracker particularly being a character who was never quite sure about the Decepticon cause, I always thought, well, there's got to be Autobot ones running around. There's got to be guys who were in the Vosgian Air Force, because Starscream was originally in the British comic, the head of Voss, which was one of the city-states on Cybertron. There's got to be an entire air force there of these jets. Yeah. And Starscream took only a certain number of them with him to the Decepticons, so there's got to be Autobot ones running around, so I would have thought.
Okay.
I actually created an alternative to what happened in the cartoon, so, because in the toys you got Jetfire and there's no Skyfire, so I created a Skyfire, and I also created a Decepticon called Sky Shadow, and all this kind of stuff that mixed in with other Hasbro properties. But they were all different colour schemes, and you also had hobby recolours of Starscream that were Ghost Starscream and a black and gold Starscream and stuff like that, which was just
bling
great. Yeah. So, you know, that you could literally have 20 of these and they'd all be different characters who were as valid as each other, frankly. Yeah. Quite happily. So that does make sense that these have been picked up and changed into different characters. But we still haven't had Thrust, Ramjet and Dirge. Yeah. Who were the 1985 jets. Before we even get to the other 2 strike planes as they were here. But no. But they were movie toys, they were Scourgeon. So,
I've earned my pint.
Yeah.
Okay, I've earned my pint. Seriously.
I could go on all night, so let's stop.
Oh no, you could. I've been here. Okay.
So quick scores. When he came out, would have easily given him a 9. Because I didn't have a huge problem with all the kibble on him. I know a lot of people did. But this mould is better. It's reduced the kibble.
Whatever you would have originally given.
I would have given him a 9. Yeah. It's now slipped to 7.5, 8.
But you'd have had a 9.
You would have had a 9 originally. Okay. If I had this mould and this colour scheme, it would be a 9 again. Yeah. Maybe 9.5.
Okay, so what is it without? Or is that as it is?
But this one,
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay.
Because I would have preferred that orange rather than
So
the
if it'd
yellow.
have been that orange, you'd have had a 9. If it'd
Yeah.
been that colour scheme, he'd have been a 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, okay.
Thundercracker's getting an 8 because it is Thundercracker, but there's nothing wrong with that colour scheme. It makes perfect sense. It's the nicer version of the mould. It's just that it doesn't pop as nicely as these two guys do.
Okay.
I'm going to give this version of Skywarp
The Japanese version.
The Japanese version of Skywarp is going to get, at the kind of price we're talking about, is getting a 6.
Okay.
The UK one, which is the same mould but with a slightly different paint scheme, which is slightly more G1 correct.
Yeah.
Correct. 7.
Okay.
There is one of these Skywarps now running around in that mould, but it's Japanese only and it's a premium price because of the way it's been issued and it's in the smallest numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep the 7 on that because it's so expensive, but it is the nicer version of it.
Okay.
Acid Storm, I'm going to give him a 6 because I'm not particularly attached to the character. I'm a bit more attached to Sunstorm because he started off as a toy, then was in the comic. That started off as a cartoon character and never had a G1 toy issue.
Okay.
Though that may well change. That would make sense if they did so. And I'm not all that fond of the green, though I do like this pixelated
Yeah, the fact they've
thing
gone
that's
for
going
the
on.
techie
That's
camo.
quite nice. Though I might have liked
I always
it better
think
than-
it's digital camo.
digital camo, yeah. And though I do like the whole idea of the Rainmakers because he was one of 3 jets
Yeah.
that basically created the acid rain in the cartoon episode. But yeah, he's probably my least favourite, but it doesn't nullify the fact that I like having him.
Okay.
See what I mean? If that makes any sense. So, great version of the mould. If you have a chance to pick up a Sunstorm, I would. If you can afford to pick up Starscream in that version of the mould, so that'd be MP11, I think it is.
Yeah.
Do so.
Okay.
Because he actually comes with the crown and the cloak from Transformers the movie.
Right.
So you can have him standing there going, Megatron, is that you? Which is always
Okay. So, talking about me being around Transformers and large quantities of alcohol.
Or to assembly.
God, there better be alcohol.
Of course there's alcohol there. Swerves will be serving you
Good. Auto Assembly, it's coming up.
Yeah,
It is.
August.
That's going to be good.
Birmingham Hilton Metropole.
Are you going to throw up a link?
Yeah, it'll be down below though.
Okay,
'Cause
cool.
I can't link from here.
No, you can't link from there, but you can link from
down
there.
there.
Okay. So, how about there you put subscribe to us here?
Yes, subscribe to us here. Oh, and let's have a look at the space stock here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, we have a Flickr account, but that's mainly used for
But you'll-
photographs.
You'll throw more photos on, won't you?
Yeah, basically, if you go to the website, which is linked
There.
here,
Good.
you'll be able to check out more photos of these and than you will have seen on screen now, and they'll be in high resolution, so do check those out.
Excellent. Right, well, on that note, I'm going to go get a beer. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.
Bye.
Two.
Shame I don't know where these guys' stands are.
Robot piss. Carrot sound without sound.